Let's say commercial. What's on commercial? Oh, you can see. Nah, I didn't think anybody could see me yet. Go live, but it has like a little delay. Okay, I'm gonna get started. Before I get started, everybody, I want y'all to know that tonight's episode I'm by myself. So I'll be recording by myself, but I do have the link in the chat because it will be interactive. So just get ready. If you got something to say about this topic, more than welcome to dial in. So let me see. I want to say I need to get my earphones ready. Hold on. Normally I have some people with me where they can kind of laugh and joke as I be delayed. But I'm by myself. Let's see. AirPods Max. Noise cancellation. All right. Here we go. Drinking Dole. No, I was drinking Snapple Apple, baby. Snapple Apple. Hey, Crystal. Fancy headphones. Okay. Look. All right. Good afternoon, podcast listeners. This is Corey with Surviving the Podcast Season 3. This season is about survivor's remorse. There's a lot of life lessons when you come to survivor's remorse. There's a lot going on. What's good, Tremaine? There's a lot when you're dealing with survivor's remorse. And so this episode, hey, Ash, this episode is really touching on royal versus loyal. So, we are the royals. But before I get into it, today's survival tip is a simple one. It's real cut to the point. It's buy the lesson now before it costs you more than you can afford, which is pretty interesting because, everybody think they know everything. And everybody always say, oh, I got it. I can handle it. I can take care of it. But in actuality, you really can't. And so somebody's telling you, man, just listen. It could go with your parents, it could go with your peers, it could go with anybody. Just listen to what they got to say and then move on. But then when it comes later, when it's too late and you possibly can't afford that lesson, it can cost you a great amount. Sometimes you can lose yourself in that. So I thought that survival tip was really, really stringent when it comes to life lessons. So I'm gonna just jump right into it because I am by myself. And normally when I used to record by myself, it wasn't live. So, you could just record, stop, record. But being it is live, it's a little different. Got a little different aspect to it. And it's kind of interesting. So you got to keep it rolling. The signature hoodie. Oh, yeah. Signature hoodie for me. I like my signature hoodie. People have asked for it. But I always say to myself, like, who wants to walk around with Corey Wilson on their chest? But who walks around with Ralph Lauren on theirs? So I'm with it. But let's talk about it. Loyalty versus royalty. It's a real serious topic. It's a real interesting topic, but it's a real lighthearted topic too. And what people got to understand about it, if you really go into the book of Proverbs will really, really take you down that path about loyalty. It'll really, really spell out. And one of the verses that I removed from Proverbs 17 verses 7, it said, a friend loves at all times and a brother is born for adversity. Loyalty, it can come many ways. And I think sometimes we get confused, especially with this generation, or especially in these times. I'm gonna stop talking generation because some reason I'm always saying the young people, but really we just as messed up as well. Older people, seasoned people. And I think that we need to really understand and respect what that really means. And so the definition of loyalty is a state of being loyal, giving or showing firm and constant support despite the circumstances. You get what I'm saying? But royalty is different. It's the rank, status, power, authority, people of a high status. So you get what I'm saying? You could tell what loyalty is, you could tell what royalty is. But in this day and age, loyalty is the new royalty. And I think people need to understand nobody wants to be royal because that's a replaceable position. Like if you're the president, like your boss, like people always say, Ashley would say we're supposed to bring our Bible, cut it out. And like I was saying, like at your job, if you die tomorrow, they'll replace you the next week because it must go on. Just like any position of power, when a person of power is replaced, if they resign, if they move around, there's going to be somebody up next behind them. But for some reason, we are so attached to that whole misnomer of life. Social media plays into that a lot. We follow these celebrities. We think that we know them. We think that we just had brunch with them. Like we talk about them as though they're in our everyday lives and we want to be a part of it. And, you ever heard people say, I move with motive? People move with motive because they're attracted to that. And, and sometimes people want to be in that no. Sometimes people will befriend you because of who you're connected to. Sometimes people will make a conversation with you based on your connections. Sometimes people will attach to you based on who you are. And I think that sometimes we get it confused. And what that's starting to do is it's starting to tear down what we consider the status quo. We're so used to people messing us over, screwing us over, that we don't even know the difference now. It's like our trust is gone. So, I will talk about more about genuine authenticity, how it's become a ghost of sorts. And we'll get into that too. But faithful to a law, upholding a lawful authority, faithful and true to the government, faithful and prince of sovereignty. So, let's use the example. Let's stop right here and use the example of Trump. So would you consider the Republican Party, would you say they're loyal to that party? Or would you say they're loyal to Trump? To me, I think that they're loyal to the Republican Party, but they're attracted to Trump because of who he is. He was a celebrity. He was a millionaire. He's all of these things. So I think to see somebody that's a regular person off the street that go from zero to president, the highest position in the United States with no experience, and now that he's out of office and he's been replaced, those people are still loyal to the party, or are they loyal to Trump? And it's so hard because, we all talk about it. We talk about it all the time about whatever happened on January the 6th at the White House. We know that if that was a insurrection that's done by African Americans, our names would be on a wall right now, like a brick wall. We rest in peace, But again, we think that because they were non-Black, because they were of Anglo-Saxon descent, people look at them. They look at them as harmless, and there's nothing that they do is harmless. And prime example, there's a Republican right now running against Maxine Waters for her seat. He's African American, and the question was asked to him, what happened on January 6th? Do you think that was an insurrection? Do you think they're terrorists? That man said no. He said, I just think that they were criminally wrong, but I don't think they're terrorists. And the man said, do you know what the definition of a terrorist is? And he was saying, yeah, that's somebody who's trying to, from another country. He said, no, it has nothing to do with country, it has nothing to do with religion, it has nothing to do with race. It's someone who's trying to overthrow the current government with aggressive behavior, violence, all these type of things. That man said no. So he said, I'll ask you something different. He said, I'll ask you, do you think that if their last name was Muhammad, would they be terrorists? That black man said, absolutely. That in itself shows you. So when it comes to Trump and the Republican Party, are they loyal to Trump? Are they loyal to the party? And are they admiring Trump for his status? And they're not going to what the other party is. You understand what I'm saying? So I use that as an example because we're living with it right now. Loyalty versus royalty. And I'll even go as far as my brand, our brand, Divine Personalities. People are loyal to the brand. I have committed customers who whatever I put out, they'll buy it no matter what. But then you also have people who want to replace me, and it's you know what I'm saying? It's the whole complacency thing. You want to be where I am, and you don't know the work, you don't know what I've been through to get to where I am, but you don't mind replacing me. And so, recently I've been through some troubles where I've been sued because someone came in my inbox and asked me about questions about my business. And, just like anybody else, anybody, you're going to help them. You help them, you do what you have to do, you be a part of it. And what happens is you don't mind, because what we're doing now, I'll just go on a quick side note. What we're doing now as a people is everybody's talking about money. Money, money, money. You don't do anything for free. You better monetize that. You better do this. You better do that. And so everything shouldn't be a dollar. It doesn't pay anybody to be kind. Just be a good person. Be a genuine person. Just be a servant person. We don't have that anymore. We don't value just, I did a thing today, I supported a person today. We have to sit and we have to let everyone has to walk around and know that Corey Wilson took out the trash. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has to know that Corey Wilson did this, Corey Wilson did that. And you could take myself out and put yourself in it. Everybody wants that notoriety in this day and age. And I don't know where it comes from. I partly believe it's social media and it's the status quo. We want to be more than what we truly are. But I was helping people out, and I get so many emails and so many messages, people saying, hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do that? Hey, what's this about? And I help them. And I don't think twice about it. I go in, I'll say, hey, help them out. This is what I do, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in this particular case, I did that. And when I did that, they in turn turned around and did what they could do to destroy who I was, my integrity, my brand, falsified some documents, and basically said I had a storefront in Dallas, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go on. I can go on and on, but that's not the premise of this actual topic. But that destroyed me. You know what I'm saying? That destroyed who I am. It went so far as they tried to take my website down. It's just a lot. And that changes a person. And so, I'm loyal to the people who support me. I've always been. People can tell you, there's people in my inner circle can tell you, how many times did you pay for a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or any type of thing? Because I don't do what I do for money. God has blessed me and financially. I'm not rich. Don't Bank of Corey, it doesn't exist. I am not rich, but my problems don't consist of the green, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm not looking at everything like, oh, that's $10, that's $5, that's $50. But somebody who would come in and they're not loyal to me can come in and destroy everything that I put together or I built. And so it's the thing, we want to be that next best thing. We want to replace, and we want to go higher without the work. You know what I'm saying? And so do what you have to do to knock the next man out, and you step in and you go in. Thank you, Audra. I appreciate it. I try my best sometimes. I don't get it right all the time. But at the same time, when you are who you are, and we'll go into, I'll break some things down, it's hard for you to get out of that. But I think from this lesson, from what I've been taught and how I'm going forth in life, I'm not going to be as open or as giving or as that person, because I am a good person and I can't change that. I inherited that from my mom. She instilled it in us. It's just who I am, because my blessings come elsewhere. It don't come from man. I never came for nobody and, look for any kind of notoriety. And so, but we're going to talk about that. And, you ever been around that person that they always want you to know what they did, what you do. Oh, I did that. That's me. Oh, that's me. And that becomes tiring. And that lets you know that you didn't do anything with a good heart. You did everything in your power because you wanted somebody to recognize you. And that becomes problematic. But just imagine if you're around a whole community or group of people that have that same mindset. It's dog eat dog. It's crabs in a bucket. Nobody really has a genuine heart. No one speaks to that. And we talk about, people are scared. Sometimes people are scared to be loyal because that shows some type of vulnerability. Shows some type of openness and honesty. But the true loyal person, and let's talk about it. We're not just talking about friendship. You know, when people think loyalty, you think friends. But you be loyal in your family. You be loyal with your employment. You can be loyal in your relationship. You can be loyal to where you shop. You can be loyal to the brands that you buy. There's so many levels of loyalty that we can really break down. But I'm blanketly. So when I talk, don't think I'm just talking, oh, you're talking about loyalty friends. Because for me, honestly, friendship, the word friend is used too much, too loosely. Everybody's a friend. Oh, that's my best friend. That's my best friend. That's my friend of a friend of a friend. Quit using it. The friend word has died. Just like it's just dead. Like, leave it alone. If they're your friend, they're your friend. But I'll give you a prime example. What kind of friend would you want in your life? Let's say, for example, that you had a really good friend and you got into it with them and you had a disagreement. You just, hey, we argued about some things. We discussed some things. It was really bad. It was really tumultuous or whatever. Everybody has a sounding board. A liar would tell you that they don't have a sounding board. But everybody has a sounding board. So when you go to that person and you asking that person, this is how you know loyalty versus foolishness versus somebody that you don't want in your inner circle. Hey, how you doing? Such and such. Man, I talked to you, man. I got into it with somebody and such. And this is what I said. Was I wrong? They replied like this. That's a true conversation to a soundboard. But if I come to you and say, man, let me tell you about Joe Smo. This MF said this and that, he already this, he already walked with a limp anyway. He can't afford this and that. What that does to me, it puts on the red light to be like, this he ain't even loyal to who the people he say he loyal to. And or she ain't loyal to who says so. You give them. I give the advice that I'm supposed to give. I give people the help that they're supposed to give. But I always take note. Like, I see how you move. I don't want anybody loyal to me that can't respect me and say, hey, we had a disagreement. We fell out, but you take it to the internet. Everybody's taking it to the social media. You don't iron out differences between somebody you're loyal to publicly. Hey, you had a disagreement. And sometimes friendships, relationships, marriages, just imagine two people that are divorced, that have to co-parent. That's a love like no other. You know what I'm saying? But they have to have some type of relationship to make sure that their kids understand that their parents are there for them. So just imagine being around somebody all the time. They know all your deepest secrets. Are you going to turn on them? Like, are you going to meticulously destroy your partner every time you see them? Because you have the ammunition, but that's where loyalty lies. Friendships, things like that, they expire, but that does not mean take the whole friendship and let's spread it out to the people. That's disloyalty. That's royalty as well. And then, just like these athletes, just like that, we're so attached to who they are to where they can't do any wrong. But when they do wrong, we don't stand with them. There's so many celebrities, there's so many people of clout that go through some real life things. And if you ever hear people, like you hear regular everyday people, they talk about them and they discuss their personal life like they know. And then they go ahead and incriminate them. I never fool with them. I never listen to no more of their music because they such. If you loyal to somebody, the only person that should be judging somebody is God. He's not a human being. He's not a present. You could choose not to support them, etc. But for you to go as hard as you go for these people, and you to carry these celebrities' beef in your life. Oh, I don't mess with them because such don't mess with them. It's a whole different thing. And like I said, it's a destroyer. I know the Republicans on this cancel culture. I think we're destroying each other through loyalty. We're not loyal anymore. Like, we're not loyal to nothing. I mean, and I could go as far as Greek life. Everybody's loyal to a fault, and then all of a sudden you have all of this burn and churn out here in the streets, and people are talking, and we're supposed to be serving the community. Where's the loyalty in that? And all you do every day you take your life and you just out here doing good works. You're not really concerned about the undertones or the passive aggressiveness. That's another thing. I've never seen so many passive aggressive males in this lifetime in my generation. People they say one thing, but then there's something else being said somewhere else in rooms your ears can't hear. And that's good. You don't need to hear, but see, that's where loyalty step in. You want somebody in that room that can defend your character and you never have to hear about it. But you won't. What happens now is, man, they was talking about you. So now I'm looking at you like, why is this even a conversation? Because you know the truth about me. So I don't have to defend myself against you. So they can stay right in that room where those people are. Let them talk. Let those things be. Let it become. And I want to tell people all the time that your spirit does not count or reference what somebody else thinks of you. That's not your job. Who cares about that? Like, let that go. I mean, because you can do everything. You can knock down, you can donate $100 million. Somebody say he didn't donate 101. I know somebody who donated $101 million. Oh, he ain't all that. He got 2 cars. I know somebody got 4. Just remember, it's always gonna be people out there talking. And Joel Osteen, I know people really struggle with Joel Osteen as a pastor because he's more of a teacher, but he has some great messages. And one of the messages he says, like, you don't have to, your job is to elevate. You go up that ladder. You do what you have to do. You never need to come back down to defend yourself against nobody in the bottom. Those are bottom dwellers. Let them people talk. Don't defend. So I go through all that to say, like, we don't have to defend ourselves against naysayers. You do what you're supposed to do. But the question is, people don't know what they're supposed to do. People don't even know where they're supposed to start. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Like Sean Chris, like people talking about you. What did you say? And I'm really big on that. Like I just don't. I never put myself in a place where people have to get me. I don't do the gossip, the mess and stuff. And me and Crystal talked about that yesterday about how when we were young, like we were kids and stuff. You say, man, his J's fake, right? Them J's fake. That's different. But in our grown lives, life has hit so much of us so hard that I got too much of my own to worry about than to be sitting in a room discussing other grown people, especially somebody in their downfall. And then I know that I'm gonna see them later and I would just be like, hey, but I just got through talking about you. I don't do that. It's just uneasy for me. And so let me get into it. I got some notes over here. I'm sorry. I could talk when I'm by myself. But one thing I want to say, it says how you really can judge who people are by if you can call them in the middle of the night. It's a lot to be said about. Let's talk about grandparents, how these grandparents are raising their grandkids, but there's not even a thank you that comes with that. There's not even that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And then if it comes to where the grandparents say to the parent, hey man, I'm tired, or hey, you got to get your own kid this time, it becomes a problem. And I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to call out anybody or trying to, ruffle any feathers, but just think about it. Think about all the types of people that you cross every day that you just expect to do things that they're not supposed to do. And I always ask people, what if your people who have kids, what if your parents pass away? Then what you're left with? That expectancy drops, right? But right now it's like, oh, that's their grandkids. They're supposed to do that. They're supposed to take care of them. Some stuff. And a simple thank you goes a long way. I tell people all the time, people always, you got to buy this, you got to buy. No, just a simple thank you sometimes. And so, but those grandparents, they love their grandkids. I think that, and our generation shows some bright spots of it. But when parents, our parents had a joy in seeing their kids win. I know in our generation, a lot of our people that our peers that have raised the kids, I know that they kind of move with their kids. They hang with them. They babysit them. They just follow them all through life. Like I just remember when my mom dropped me off at college and she said, hey, you know what you will and will not do, especially when it came to joining the band. You know what you will and will not do. And hey, be safe. Call me if you need me. But my mama wouldn't like, give me a band t-shirt. They were sitting on side band. That's my baby. No, but this generation, I know people. I'm taking out because I'm going this weekend. I'm going to surprise my son. I'm gonna surprise my daughter. I'm gonna take them and their roommates to eat. I mean, I ain't mad at them. I mean, I wish my mom would do something like that, but my mom was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come pick you up for the holidays, when it's over." But what I'm trying to say is that it's an expectancy now that people just expect you to do. And I just challenge you. It's some things that you're probably doing in your personal life right now that you know that you're doing it because you have a sheer joy doing it. Stop doing it. Test it out for a minute. Just stop doing it and see what type of response you get from the people that you are helping that really mean the most to you, because that's a teachable moment. That's an opportunity for you to really talk to them and really let them know that, hey, I'm doing this because I love doing it. I'm doing it because of who you are and because of who I am. But I don't have to do any of this. And see, some people fall out forever when you don't come through for them. I was talking to somebody, when I went up for my birthday a couple of years ago, I was talking to a good friend of mine. They were saying how they helped out one of their best friends. Things got hard for them. And they helped them. I mean, money was involved. I mean, family, financially, just stepped in that gap when they were needed. But they didn't even come through. The people didn't even, when they got situated and when they got on their feet, they didn't even say thank you. Matter of fact, they came back for more help. And when they came back for more help and the bank was closed, guess what? They telling people, I don't rock with them like that no more. I don't really mess with them like that no more. So you out there the bad guy. Now you done a litany of things for them, but you're the bad guy. And see, but I'm gonna show you what loyalty look like. That same person never said a thing. Nobody knows the things that they did for them, because that's how it's supposed to be. You don't have to cover your tracks when you know you move right. Only a dirty MF will have to go through life trying to say, let me make sure I said that. Let me make sure I cover this up because I did this. No, if you move in a light, transparent, people know who you are. You don't have to. And I hate people say people are grimy who move in silence. No, you're not grimy that you move in silence. You move in silence because people will always, you can never do right in some people's eyes. So sometimes you just do what you need to do, and regardless, let the people talk. They'll God will take care of that. Like you're not here for the chatter. You know what I'm saying? I learned a new one, squeaky wheel. You just put some oil on that wheel and keep it moving. So, but I don't think grimy people move in silence. I don't believe in that. I just think people sometimes move in silence to protect their peace, protect who they are, because they just don't have time for the BS. But let's see. We touched on how grandparents and people, just example how people, take advantage of their parents and just peers and things that you're not expected to do, but people do it. Friend, you have been a wise soul from the moment I met you almost 20 years ago. I just want to say, the Kima, you doing it? I watch you. Look at everybody. Amen. Hey, right. Amen. Not a dirty MF. Trish, you something else. But going into what I want to talk about, what it is to serve. Just serve because you are a servant. We are challenged a lot when we have a good heart. And even if I'm gonna say when we have everybody has good heart. Even the mass murderer out there once started out with a good heart. Somebody or something triggered them to turn into a cold soul. But we all got goodness in us, And I'm a believer that I think even the worst person in this world need a best friend. You know what I'm saying? They always need somebody to talk to. Even the town crier needs somebody to talk to. So I'm a big believer in that. But sometimes it is good to just be a great set of hands. Just, hey, what you need? Hey, I can't attend the event, but you need this. I can bring that to you. And you just kind of move on. You move that way. And when you start moving like that and people start knowing who you are, you don't have to worry about what the resonance is when you're not in the room. But you do have to be careful, because you got grimy people out there that know that you're a good person, and they'll use you up. They'll just bleed that turnip dry as much as they can, because that's just the kind of person that they are. They cold-blooded. But again, you can't worry about that. You have to continue on your path, know who you are. And I truly say that, because everybody is not just doers. You can't have a world full of doers. You just can't. It won't. We won't ever turn the page, because we still need our next Martin Luther King, our next Barack Obama, our next such and such. We still need those mighty characters. So but they're not just doers. They're leaders as well. But everybody's not a doer. But what I say is know what you are, so you don't have to be put on an act. Because I'm gonna tell you why. I have a philosophy that people can pretend to be who they want to be for at least 6 months. 6 to 8 months, you start to see some, okay, that's not 8 to 12 months, you got a whole new person in front of you. You don't even recognize them because that's not who they really were. That's not who they truly are at the core. So don't try to be a giver if you know you're not a giver. Don't try to be something that you're not, because let me tell you, the worst thing you can do is to pretend to be a giver, because when somebody piss you off, you're going to let everybody know. I did this, never again. It becomes a very, very terrible situation. And you think you're doing something, but everybody's looking at you like, man, is that what you do when you be helping people out, bro? And I tell people that all the time, and people can vouch for me. They know I just do. I just do, because you have to think about yourself. I always put myself in a place like, I don't want to be one check from the welfare line. I don't know what it's like to go without a meal, or I don't know what it's like to come home and my lights is off, or anything like that. And like I said, there's people out there that really need help, that stand right next to you every day, but they're afraid. Their pride can't allow themselves to break down because of how you treat other people. You get what I'm saying? You always say, man, why you didn't come to me first? Such. Why should they? Think about it. You're not loyal to the people you already helping. For me to know that you giving half of your paycheck to your sister on the second Saturday of each month because she don't do right with her money, you're not loyal to your sister. So why would I come ask you for help? You know what I'm saying? I want people to understand that. But think about it. When you are helping somebody, and say for example, if God was to take you away tomorrow, and you had your funeral. Who you see? I'm at Dallas is in that funeral. It almost came out, y'all. I struggle because I think I'm a Dallas native now, because I've been here so long that sometimes I be saying her and funeral. That ain't even me. But let me get back on it. But yeah, at your funeral, think about it. You don't have to beg people to speak well about you, or they don't have to rehearse their lines when they have a number of things where they can just say, man, I just remember the good things about such and such and such. But when you are somebody who is not of a good character, it's just who you are, they won't miss you tomorrow. And that's important for a lot of people, because you need to know we serve a forgiving God. And I'm not trying to preach on here, but we do. We make mistakes, man. Life is meant to be. We're meant to trip over our own feet. We're meant to make our own mistakes and get up and try that stuff again. And I think that if you know you're going down a path, like if you really look at yourself right now and say, man, I don't think I'm a good person. You can change that. Like you can really change that, but you cannot. I promise you cannot go out there and say you're something and you're not. I've sat in rooms where I've heard people get schooled on something, like truly like a topic that they had no familiarity with, and they would go in another room and speak on that whole topic like they're a novice, like they just, I know, and because it really flabbergasted. I be flabbergasted sometimes. And I just think to myself, like, now, I just saw you try to check somebody, and it didn't. That's not how that went. But now to hear, you don't have to pretend. And I tell people all the time, people can see through your foolishness and your lies. So royalty, let's talk about it. Everybody want to be that person, that go-to, that somebody. But do you really want to be it? Like, do you really want to be the next Beyonce, fellow singer ladies out there? Do you want to really be the next Kobe Bryant or Tiger Woods or all of these people? Are you really equipped for that life? And I ask that because we all deal with some type of discernment in our life, in our personal life. We deal with some type of disagreement. It's going to always be some mess, if you get what I'm saying. But just imagine you get mess from strangers. It's a whole world out there that boo you and they don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what that feels like? To walk in and you feeling good, you just had a good warm up, you just practice with your team, and they call your name in a visiting city, and you get booed, and you have to play through that. So I ask people all the time, people want to be royal and stuff like that, and people want to, I'm gonna be the next this. Can you actually do that and still perform your job? And I take myself down to my own little four walls. I know I'm not built for it because I'm too good to people to where I will analyze and be like, and what did I do for the internet to go off on me like that? You know what I'm saying? What did I do? I don't think I'm ready for that. And that's why I tell people all the time, but we admire those people. And sometimes these people admire them to a fault to where they can't do anything wrong. But I tell you, after Beyonce, I hope she lives to be 150 years old. But after Beyonce, there will be another Beyonce. Eventually it will come. There'll be another Barack Obama. Eventually it will come. There'll be another Jesse Jackson. There'll be another Corey Wilson. There'll be another somebody. You can be replaced when you are chasing royalty, when you're chasing likes, when you're chasing that type of you will be removed. You'll spend your whole entire life. Like you ever went to dinner with somebody and all they do is just scroll through how many likes I got. They refreshing. I just posted a post. I just posted a picture. You're chasing royalty. You don't give a damn about loyalty at that point, because you have those people on Facebook. Let's just speak on it. Half those people on Facebook you don't even know. That's how I got caught up. I wasn't chasing royalty. The truth, by no means. I could post something, I can get one like. I don't really care, but because my social media is trash. I think if my social media game was on point, I would be like, now hold on, now I should be having 500 likes. I'm just joking, but when we talk about it, like when you start talking about the whole concept of what I'm doing, how I'm strategically, like, let that go. Because just like you chasing people for their like, they don't give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? They don't. I tell you, at the end of the day, get in a bind, get yourself in a bind, get in a situation where you really, really need to call on some warriors. And I'm not talking about praying warriors. I'm talking about like, hey, y'all, I need $2,000 like today. Can you transfer that and I'll give it to you next week, such. Or, hey, man, I just got kicked out of my house. I need somewhere to stay. Or, hey, when you get in those type of binds, you'll start seeing like what royalty and what loyalty looks like, because everybody has a strong following somewhere. Like Divine Person, like me and my little Jenny, what's up, Jay Jones? Me and Jenny, we're somebody in our own world. But when we start really breaking down, like when we start looking at ourselves on a map of like Greek apparel and shirts and things like that, we're not even this, you know what I'm saying? But in our own little world, shoot, we somebody. We move, they go DP, they go. But I'm telling you, get yourself in a bind to where you really need some people. And I say all that to say, because I know that, like when I posted on our Facebook that we were being sued, people know me. They could have called me, but they called my business partner, and then they try to pit us. Oh, you don't know? Oh, I thought y'all was. And see, you have to understand, you have to carry people. You have to know what people are. I have a business partner that she might ride or die. Jenny gonna always know. But I also respect my business partner, because when people going through life, and like with a death in the family, stuff like that, you have to let people grieve, and you have to let people. And so you don't need to bring extra stress. So for you to call my business partner and then question her like she don't know what's going on, see, that's mess. People are not loyal. That's not a loyal person. Those are not loyal people. That's people who just trying to chase a story. They're trying to chase something. And I call them clout chasers, but I also call them mess chasers, because they're trying to run from their own mess. Because when you open up their closet door or you try to go in their garage, shit start falling out as soon as they hold that door up. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, and I keep trying to bring it back. Like, you got to just do what you're going to do, and the rest of that stuff going to come. If you look at some of these people, some of these celebrities and stuff, they love y'all to follow them, but you ever notice that they don't even respond? People say, hey, I heard you on the Men of a Divorce. they'll ask you, but this movie though, but my new song though, but this new trophy I won. See, you got to know how to navigate through that, because even in the biggest of terms, even with somebody as royal as we kind of idolize these people and put them on these pedestals, we know, we know where we stand and we know where we are when it comes to that type of thing. We know there's a hierarchy. We know there's a pecking order. We know there's a dog eat dog world out there. The same person that put you on will also take your shit off. The same person that will put you up, they also knock that peg out. Like I was telling somebody, if I knew somebody who was trying to get up and they was climbing the ladder and there was a missing leg, and I would help them up. You ain't got to try to get me over the wall. I'm gonna wave. I'm gonna say I just help them. I know they're doing well. And when I help people, if people could tell you, people always trying to pay me for something. Oh, Corey, how much now help the next person, because somebody's gonna come in your life and they're gonna need something from you. And I hate when people say, because this is a great show, I don't want to do too profanity. I hate when people say, that's gonna cost you $10. Where I invoice you. Where I send the money, because this is gonna cost me back. And Corey Wilson, anybody can ask you. There's nobody say, Corey, I'll pay it. Let me pay it. But I've done so much for people, and when I hear them turn around, they say, yeah, it's gonna cost you about $75. I just pay it. I don't say nothing. But I know who keep tabs. My soul keep tabs, because first thing I say, Corey, you cheating yourself. And I get it all the time. People tell me, Corey, you cheating yourself. No, I'm not cheating myself, because I'm gonna tell you, like I said, if it's $10 just sitting in my account, if I'm right at $5 in my account, I'm still gonna eat. You understand? I'm still somebody that loves me enough, but God's gonna come. And people always saying, I need a sign. Sometimes your signs are walking around you. Sometimes your blessings are walking around you too. So, like I said, if I get down to the point where I'm at my bare minimum, guess what? I'm still not gonna miss no meal. I'm gonna still come here. I can cut these lights on. I can lay in that bed, and I can talk on this phone. I can watch some television because my bills are paid. But I'm not clout chasing. I think people got to understand that. That's where that loyalty versus royalty. Like, you ever sat in a room with somebody and they start telling you how much money they got in their account or how much money they make? Because they want you to get like, yeah. And so to me, that's somebody chasing clout. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves in my life is when somebody say, what's up, big timer? I see you, big timer. What's that? And look at her. That's big money there. Don't do me. You don't even know. I could be a janitor. I could be pushing paper at Amazon. I could be doing the smallest job, but people just look at you and they just automatically say, and guess what that does? That only brings envy, but that also brings haters. That brings more people in your life that look at you and they think like, oh, he think he's something. I've heard it. And like I said, you don't know who. Yeah, I have allies and people tell me stuff and I'll be like, I didn't even know they thought like that. I didn't know they felt like that. So they'll say, Corey, you need to move a little different when it comes to this person because you think they cool, but they talking about you. And you be like, oh man, I just created the obituary for their grandma for nothing. I didn't know they felt that way. But there's people out there like that. Like I said, will use you up and tear you all the way down in the same breath. And they'll be saying, oh, that's loyalty versus royalty. Because I tell people all the time, if I went away, if I disappeared tomorrow, would it matter? That's the change you want to be. And that's where you want to be in life. That's the kind of soul you want. You want to have a loyal soul and you don't want to chase clout. You want to be a person of good purpose and good service. And people can say, okay, I run with him. I run with her. I run with that person, or I'm okay with that person. And I said, like I said, the biggest test, talk to somebody who was divorced and has kids. I think that's the most humbling conversation you ever have. I've talked to some people, and I just talked to somebody recently, and they were telling me how, their ex-wife just was tearing them up through the streets, destroying them, just maliciously was doing some things to them, and they never ever responded. And that takes some restraint, because I'm going to tell you, you really, really can see some things through some people. And that man he said, I never reached out to them. I never said anything like, you need to say that, you cut this out. He never defended it. He said he finally said something to somebody and they were like, oh, I didn't know they did that. Oh, I didn't know they did that. He said, yeah. He said, and I felt so bad. He said, because I just don't ever talk about it. And he said, and the same people that's revering her, she don't look at them the same. Only if they knew, if they could be a fly on the wall when she was speaking what she speak. So I tell people all the time, you want to talk about loyalty, talk to a ex-spouse or somebody and see how they have to co-parent, how they have to exist. You know, somebody told me getting a divorce is like reliving a funeral every day, because you know that part of your life is dead, but you still got it. You know that they still exist in this world. So sometimes you want to pick up the phone and maybe call them, because you know when you say you're marrying somebody, you're giving your all to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you told me, like if there is no secrets, but then now all of a sudden they know my everything and they out there in the wilderness. That's something. That's really life changing, and that's all inspiring. So I just want people to know that you have to understand it's not a joke when it goes to loyalty versus royalty, because if we do not change the tide soon enough, we're gonna really be messed up. Like in the future, we're gonna be really, really, really in bad shape as we get older. Because I just look at stuff like I'm 40, and 40 more years, if God say the same, I'll be 80, and I don't know, you know, who gonna take care of me or what the doctors are gonna look like, because you know we just, you know, we're not really pushing people that way. This generation is not coming that way. So you know, loyalty versus royalty is really gonna make a difference. And I hate to keep going back to politics, but I just remember when you ran for office, and once you won, it was over. And if there was a emergency or something, like if there was a flood in the city, it didn't matter if you was Republican, Democrat, Independent, didn't vote. They went in and helped you. But our past president, he chose to help people based on who was the mayor or who was the governor of the state. You need to kiss my ring. You need to show that you're loyal. See, that becomes deadly. Now you're starting to like titter-tatter to like, are you on my train? Like, you know, are you for me or not? And for somebody, and people, you know, and I see people that are Republicans, they be defending Trump, and I'd be like, and there's so much that came out when Biden became president, because Biden had to overturn so much. He had to go in and he had to start writing executive orders. Like, did y'all even know that Muslims couldn't even come to America? Trump banned them for coming to America. It was not talked about, but that was one of the other things. Then, like, Planned Parenthood, you know, people who choose to have abortion. But that's one facet of Planned Parenthood. But they do a lot of things. They provide contraception, they provide sex education. They are really helpful in the African American and I want to say, you know, just the impoverished communities. But that man made it so that he took all their funding away because they supported abortion. But yet they out here talking about wearing a mask is their God-given right. But I guess having an abortion is not your God. That's between you and God. And I always say to myself, you know, my argument with abortion, and I'm going to get off of this because, you know, I don't want nobody to come DMing me or threatening my life, because I don't go for it. I'll fight you. My understanding is that Republicans always want to say abortions are a crime. Well, why we got so many people in foster care and adoption and things like that, and there's so many kids that don't have parents? Because if you allow people to, yes, sex is a grown decision, but having an abortion is between you and God. If you have 12, 13 abortions, 1 or 2 or none, that's their life. But yet, if you tell me, you've been raped, but now, that's a blessing from God. And I mentally go insane because I've been raped, and I give my child up. Republican number one, you gonna come pick it up, but you don't. You don't pick it up. I'm raised in foster care, but until I'm 18, then now I'm semi crazy because I don't have no family. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, you can't fight for something all the way up until a certain point, and then now we're talking about mask, and you telling me that that's your right not to wear a mask, and just stupidity. We didn't live in 1918, so we don't know what the pandemic was like. But let me tell you something. There's somebody I follow on Facebook. He found a cartoon from 1932 that was like, I think they was 10 years removed from the pandemic, and there was still people talking about how they handle that pandemic in 1918, still falsifying narratives. And the cartoon is very relevant to today. They was jumping off a cliff of misinformation. That's what the cartoon was. And I said, they didn't just go in and run that again, because that's what we are, full of misinformation. And I say, for people to blatantly lie with a straight face, you give people a platform. That's what happened. Remember with camera phones and stuff, you didn't really have that. You took a picture of somebody, you had the T9, and if you want to tap it in, it didn't go. But now everything, we all have like walking video cameras. So everybody has a platform. They have something to say. And I just tell people all the time, we'll talk about it in one episode, like with the vaccine and all that stuff. That's your choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to do it. You don't have to do it. And I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to tell you you're an abomination, you're stupid, you're ignorant, you're the world going to end because you didn't get vaccinated. Hey, you didn't get vaccinated, and you survived. God bless you. May God keep you. And I wish to see you here next year, because COVID is here to stay. And, and I think people don't understand that. I think people feel like, if you look at the world right now, people are out there, y'all. People out there like COVID where? You know what I'm saying? Like, people are moving and shaking. Cinco de Mayo was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world, like, it's traffic now on the streets. And I remember when I moved back to Texas, there was no movement. And now you got wall. So people are going and people are out here living like we are not in a pandemic. But, I was talking to somebody last night and say, you got to protect your own. Protect your own. Like, do what you got to do for your people. I'm a cancer survivor, so I can't throw spaghetti at the COVID wall and see if it's stick or not. I'm gonna do what they tell me to do. And if they say stay in my house, I'm gonna stay my ass in my house. And they tell me wear 2 masks, I'm gonna wear 2 masks. Tell me don't wear no mask, I'm gonna still wear masks. Because I just don't trust it, and like, it's so early. But like I said, I'm blessed. I didn't have the antibodies of COVID. I got the vaccine, and I know more than likely we're gonna have to get another vaccine. It's okay. I'm okay with it. But you got people out here complaining and stuff. And it's free, y'all. It's free. But people be complaining and stuff. Y'all don't even know what these fast food restaurants putting in your body, but you go every day. You go get that wing dinner every week. You get that Mickey D's every week. You eat your favorite foods. You don't know what they're doing, how they preparing that food. Like, I didn't find out that school food is pre-made until I talked to my play mama. She's a cafeteria manager, and that's what they do. Everything was pre-made at one point. They used to cook it back in the day, but then it got so fast, burn and churn. You don't know if that's real or what. We just heat it up and go, microwave and stuff. But we want to complain about a vaccine or wearing a mask or whatever. But I'm getting off of that because that's not what this episode's about. That's for another time. But moving through, you want to be somebody that got somebody's back in a tight squeeze, or you bailed them out and nobody ever know about it. And I could talk for myself. I just recently, I just removed myself out of somebody's life that I thought was really cool. And I found out that, hey man, they was tearing me down. I was all kinds of things in that world. And they said they were friends. I treated them as such, but God really, he'll show you who they are. And what I did was I removed myself from them. But anybody can tell you, I don't talk about that person. I don't destroy them. I know some things that can destroy people, but I'm loyal. And I'm loyal to a fault. I can admit it. People can tear me down, but guess what? I'm still going to be okay. Because if people threw fruit and everything as I walk by, I really wouldn't give a damn. Some people, it can really take them out. But I want to say all that to say that, like, to hear your information, to hear your name being repeated, to hear conversations that were had about you, and you're like, man, what's going on? And you find out who it is, and you could just clap back. The human in us, especially when we from the streets, you be like, man, I know that Mickey Ficky didn't say that, because I know that. I just be like, okay. I said, well, I don't fuck with him, so I mean, next case. Because guess what? That's gonna really show who they are when they throw their rock and hide their hand, and you be like, I thought you at least know how to split amicably. I just think how you would go see what we are. Like Brother Greg say, you go to another country and see how blessed we are. Very blessed. I remember when I went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and we had to pay for ice. You had to pay for ice. And, we go to the hotel room and get ice all the time, but not there. They had to bring the ice up to you, and there was a bucket. And the bucket was like $8 because it's different. We take advantage of things, and that's why we are so we're selfish. When it comes to, and I'm jumping ahead, But the selfishness of it all, we are selfish as a race and as a people in America because we feel like life should be normal. I laugh and joke all the time. Man, I miss football season. Man, I miss this and that and all that kind of stuff. But y'all, I'm not out here asking nobody to risk their lives so I can get a good halftime show or I can be at a concert venue hearing somebody sing. I don't wish that. Like, I know when the world gets back right, it'll get back right and we'll see those things, just know. But y'all have people out here who are still complaining and putting pressure on the back end so they can go back to normalcy. So our selfish asses can be at a game. Like, I don't see why people should be. Tell you, in 2020, that high def television and watching those basketball games and stuff real time, I just felt like I was there. I didn't have to pay no millions of dollars. I was at the game. I was in the mix of it. But we in America that's just what we are. Like we should be back. They got a vaccine, so we can do this again. We can do this again. And you're like, do what again? Slow down. Like, y'all, there's no rush. Take some time. Like, really, really get yourself together. Like, people are still dying of COVID. People are still going into the hospital and not coming back out because of COVID. People are still trying to get their life back to normal from COVID diagnosis in 2020. It's just not the same. And I think you have to adapt to that. I think I'm a compare it to how segregation. Like, people were so stuck on Jim Crow, they couldn't understand sitting in a restaurant next to a black person. Things change. And COVID has changed our lives forever. And we have to accept that. You got to. You just have to. But let me bring myself into the whole genuine behavior. How y'all feel about that word, to be genuine, to be authentic, to be your authentic self? That's what people always say. Be my authentic self. That's all I can be. But you're not being your authentic self. But what about what y'all think about that? The genuineness of it all. And I'm a post a thing. If you want to call in, I'm gonna post it and let you talk because I'm about to end it in a few. But the genuineness of being a loyal person versus being royal. Chasing things, people sometimes they will never respect who you are or what you've done, but you do it anyhow. Your job, see, like I said, I like that. Be who you are. Be who you are. You're not for everybody, and I think somebody told me the other day, you have to teach people how to love on you, which is fine. And I really agree with that. But at the same time, if they don't, does that stop your help? So if you saw me on the side of a road and you saw I had a flat, would you drive by because we're not friends or we're not cool, or would you still pull over? That's a true determination right now of where you really are. And if you are the latter, there's some changes you need to make. Because don't nobody want to help, or don't nobody want anybody in their life that they can't count on. And how can I say this? Sometimes you just do without even ask, without even asking. Hey man, I got you some food, man. I was by the crib, I left it on your doorstep. During COVID, it was always time where I was going to get water. I was just dropping water on, people's doorstep that I knew it was in my vicinity. Of course, I ain't talking about I'm driving way out there to DeSoto and I live in Richardson. But it's just being a good person. Like, where has that gone? And the reason I ask that is because being loyal can really kill, or it can really put you in the early grave. And I think for the past 3.5 weeks, I was on the verge of losing everything as far as divine personality go. And I think, I didn't go into hiding. But like, if you really know me, I really am not good at social media. I try my best, y'all. I do. I try to go like it. Sometimes, people call me like on Instagram. I'm one of them people where like, if I go catch up, I'll type your name in. I might like 30 pictures at once because I'm just catching up. And some people think that's creepy, but I'm letting you know I'm not. But what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, like, I really am one of those people that, hey, I'm loyal. I'm here. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna be a good person. But somebody called me and was like, "Are you okay? I just want to make sure you're not gonna give, you weren't gonna take your life and this and this and that." I said, "Man, I let all the motherfucking shirts go before I end my life behind a t-shirt or a sweatshirt." Real talk. That money doesn't do anything for me and Jenny. It doesn't pay our bills. It doesn't make us like, oh, I can now pay my rent, or like it doesn't give us our day to day. We really reinvest that money because one day we felt like this thing was going to evolve. Divine Personalities was Divine Personalities for a reason. It started off as this, but we can go into so many avenues because Jen is very creative. The girl can design her butt off. She can interior decorate like there's no tomorrow. We could have opened that up. I'm an architect. We could have became, it's just so many avenues out there. But I told somebody, I said, I'll never, trust me, I let all that shit go before I lose my life or I kill myself behind Divine Personalities. That's why I don't trademark any designs or do it. I'm not one of them people. People steal my designs all the time. It doesn't really matter to me because to be in this world of a creative, and Crystal could talk on this, a hard deal, to be in the world of a creative, your stuff is going to always inspire somebody else. And that's why I don't mind. I don't mind, man. I'll partner with people. I'll help people because just talk to me. Hey, man, I'll help you. We can do that. But I tell you, you got to be careful. And so I'm learning a lesson. And, there's a such thing to be too loyal. And, going into something about, I wanted to talk about this too. Like, I don't want yes people around me. I want somebody to say, Corey, now that's wrong. Corey, now straight up. Now, when we get in public, oh, we're going to ride. I can't do no wrong. And you can't do no wrong, especially when I'm loyal to you. And there is no, hey, let's straddle the fence with Corey. I can see what they're saying. No. Corey said what he said. But behind closed doors, you can say, Corey, that was stupid. That was stupid. And Jimmy Ray Smith, Jimmy Ray Osborne Smith, always. He's my keeper of my Facebook. He'll text me, take that down. That ain't it. Da, da, da. And we'll argue down. But you'll never know, like, the conversations we have, because that's what a friend is. That's what loyalty looks like. Yeah, you check me, please. I don't need nobody around me. And then I don't need nobody around me that's going to say, oh, I'm a Texas. And then they don't ever speak their mind. You got to tell people when they're wrong, especially when you care about them, because that's the only way they'll get better. Don't be loyal to a point where because guess what? They know they can't do no wrong to you. So guess what? They going to always mess over you. They ain't going to look at you the same. They don't even put you in the same caliber of somebody that they respect or they're loyal to, because they know all you doing is amen everything they saying. And that's why I tell people all the time, if you can't be honest with me, don't be around me. Please. Build me, don't kill me. Come on, Drill. That's it right there. Build me, don't kill me. Love me just the same, but tell me when I'm wrong, because I need to know that I'm wrong so I can right that wrong for the next time or for the next person or for the next experience. Don't leave me out there thinking that I'm doing everything right, because I'm telling you, that's what builds false prophets. And that's what builds these false royalties. That's what builds these Instagram models. That's what builds these people out here who got these $1 million photo galleries and things like that, but they living in somebody's house. They rent out a room in this such building because they are false. They have this false narrative that you just assume it. I'm telling you, if you get in the inbox of some of those people and talk to them real heart to heart, some of them people are really, really struggling. But we built them up so where we love them so, we admire them so that they can't do no wrong, but they can't even tell you what I ain't made it yet. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to really understand that, one last thing. Do not be a self-serving loyalist. Hear me again. Do not be a self-serving loyalist. What that simply means is like people who have friends and they change by the season. Get what I'm saying? Now, hear me clear. They change by the season. This is my best friend, but next week it's another best friend. Next week is another best friend. This is my new. I want you to meet my new friend. Life don't work like that. It just don't work like that. You have to show some type of longevity in your life. And we talked about this. People, no new friends. That's a fallacy, because just because you've been in my life for 20 years don't make you no great friend. It just make you somebody I've known for 20 years. That's it. So when you call somebody a friend, when you're loyal to somebody, check their surroundings, because I tell you, I don't want to be in anybody's circle that has a new best friend like every few years. This my ride or die. This is my best. Because let me tell you something. Those are the people who are not loyal, because they'll talk about you in the same breath. There's some people that I know personally that are ride or die with some people, and they've told me everything about them. And I'm looking at them like, my God, I mean, that's what they doing, really? And when you see them, all you can say is like, hey, but the people are looking at you like, I hope they ain't gonna say nothing. I hope they don't say nothing. I'm not gonna say a word. That's not my job. But I know how you took them through the ringer, and to turn around and say, this is my ride or die, this is my no limit soldier. But I know they inner dealings. That lets me know what you'll do to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so hard for good people to open up, and good people that really ask for help. People that check on your strong friends. That's why it's so hard to check on your strong friends, because your strong friends is a friend to a lot of people who they've been strong for, but they know that they character ain't right. You know what I'm saying? You say my circle is small by design. I believe what people show me. Very true. And I don't have a circle. I just have good people, and I put good people with good people. If I know you're a good person, I'm not a jealous friend. I'm not one of the people like, these are my friends, you stay over here. No, I put good people with good people, because all it takes is one bad person to turn a good person bad. Think about that. One bad experience can sour a whole person's whole makeup of life. They could say, whatever, I ain't friends with them no more. Man, let me tell you what happened, because I'm telling you, it really hurts people to their core when they really get messed over. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, if I know somebody that's good people, I'm gonna say, hey, meet this person. And I'm telling you, and when I hear that they talked or they hung out or they kicking it, I'll be okay with it, because I know that they're in good hands. Because you just want people to be supported and surrounded by good people, because good people are hard to find. And I say that all the time. Check your real friends. If you keep saying you got them, check them, because nobody on God's green earth should be able to come back and tell you something that your friend said about you. No, shouldn't. And yeah, like Casey said, when they show their true colors, take it. Like you can't paint. You can't go get a paintbrush and say, nah, that's not who I thought you was. And you can't do that. And you cannot let me tell you something. I'm guilty of this. I can speak offhand. I'm guilty of trying to make somebody what they're not. I think just like with my organization, when somebody tell me that they're interested in my organization, it's theirs to lose. It's not for me to take. So I'm going to prepare you to be the best person that you can be for my organization. But when you're not being honest and you're not who you are, layers get taken away, opportunities get taken from you, then you left over there, you're like, nah, you're not worthy. That's how I am too in my everyday life. It's not for me to go out here and take nothing from anybody or do anything in that type of capacity. You got to show yourself to be a good person. And I think that everything will work out in its way. It'll work out for you for the good. You know what I'm saying? Just remember that. Like, you have to understand, we're not God. Like, I hate when people say, I could take that. And you can't take anything, because what's meant for people is meant for people. Even if, it's some people out here, I wish Karma really, like, I wish she come in, like, I be wanting her to come in sometime. It's just like, fuck some shit up, like straight up. But that's not for me. That doesn't do me any good to wish that on. And my mama told me one time, she taught me a good lesson. She said, when people wrong you, you want to make sure that you're so far away from the situation to where whenever karma do hit, can't nobody say, oh, that was because of court. No, And then when you hear about it, you're like, man, I hate that happened. But that's on them. You don't have to go out there and fight every battle, every time somebody mess you over and something. And that's where it comes to the base of the word loyalty. They even made a song, loyalty. You know, that's a very, very strong word. And I think people say it like just like friend. People saying I'm loyal, friend. They just say it every day. Oh, I love you. I've heard so many people say I love you, and I know damn well you don't love that person. I know you don't. So all of these strong principles that we supposed to be grounded upon to be better human beings, they're being watered down, diluted, and it's just becoming a thing. So I hate when somebody say they loyal. I've seen some people that's loyal, not even loyal to me. I've tested people's loyalty against people that and even though they say they're not loyal, I know they're loyal to them, and I respect that because they are. But I also look at them differently because they are not doing a service to the people that they are loyal to. You have to check your people. You have to check your family. You have to check. We reap what we sow. That's it, Andrea. You have to check people for who they are. That don't make you no different. And if they can't receive your honesty, your criticism, you shouldn't be in their life. No way. Like, period. So I will leave you with this statement. Some people don't deserve your loyalty, but you're loyal anyway. Think about that. Some people don't deserve your loyalty, but you're loyal anyway. And skin deep loyalty is royalty. They are attracted to you because you can provide this. They are attracted to you because you can get them that. You know, people will come to you for all types of things. You'd be surprised. People have no shame. Let me just say that people have no shame on what they'll ask you for. They'll ask you for some things, and you, in your mind, you're like, I know they just fix their lips and ask me that, but they do. You got to understand that you're not out here on your own. Life is not meant to be lived alone either. You got to include people. You got to learn life's lessons. You have to take those hard hits. You have to get messed over because it'll make you better for the next situation. You cannot have a fragile CEO. A fragile, emotional CEO will never be an Amazon or a Microsoft or Apple. You have to have some tough, thick skin. You have to go through some things that's going to really make you check some things in yourself. You really have to go through some things that make you remove yourself. And I can speak on that firsthand because when you lead people and when you're over a person and they depend on you on the job and they report to you, think about it like a dog. You travel, you know damn well you don't need no dog. Because guess what? You're going to always have to find somebody to provide for that dog when you're gone, even if it's a doggy daycare or something. But you're going to always, and guess what? When you start depending on those people to do those duties that you know that you're supposed to do, it's going to become a problem. People are going to start to talk about how irresponsible you are. They say that ain't him. So it's the same with a job. You cannot be so committed to something to where you can't see the forest from the trees. Like, you have to really prepare yourself and go in that situation as that, listen, if they don't like my work ethic, they'll fire my ass and they'll put somebody in there tomorrow. And you have to look at life like that. So don't put yourself in places where nobody wants you. Check your loyalty, check it at the door. That's like should be one of your strong character points for somebody you call a friend. Think about that. And I really mean that. I want to say that in the most respectful way. Like I said, a loyal person's hardest task is learning how to be selfish. Very much so, because you'll give somebody your last, and they won't even think of you and stuff. And I could tell you, I can talk. My season 1 of this podcast was a real open book. It was too open sometimes. I just really let people in. Season 2 was really like a good panel. It was a real good mixture. And this season here, I said I'm gonna take it out from me and just give life lessons, because I'm gonna tell you, I consider myself an old soul. I'm one of those people. I don't have to experience it. I don't have to experience the situation. Like, I don't have to know the stove is hot. You already told me it was hot. I mean, I could feel the heat coming off the damn stove myself. I'm not gonna go say, let me touch it anyhow. I'm one of those people. So I've learned a lot in my short life that really has made me and shaped me for who I am. But I'm still learning. I'm still green in some parts. And but what I'm not green in is my loyalty. I know what loyalty looks like. And can nobody go and tell somebody that Corey's, no, I don't operate like that. And that's why when somebody insults my character and say, you said this and that, I just look at them, because I be like, you don't even know me. You shouldn't even come to me with that, because, you know, now, like I said, I got a lot of issues. I'm not perfect, trust me, but loyalty is not one of them. That's not one of my issues at all. I'm really, really good to people. And I think people have been, I reciprocate what people have given to me, and people have already outpoured and given me a lot and done a lot for me. I cannot go, and I'm not saying like monetary, it's just instilled in me a lot of good things. I've met some great people in this life, but just being who I am. You gotta always do that. You gotta always remember that. Don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose yourself trying to prove something to anybody, because if you have to prove yourself to somebody, that's not where you need to be. Understood? So I thank you guys. Like I say, next week's episode will be NWA, Narcissists with an Attitude. I have a guest with me on that one, because that's another thing that's plaguing. You know, a narcissist used to be one every 12 to 20 people. Now you got narcissists one every 6 people. And a narcissist is they'll never change. They'll either be a decent narcissist or a light, but they're going to always be a narcissist. It's in them, and they're starting to run rapid. So NWA will be next week. Narcissists with Attitude. I hope you guys tune in. I pray for everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I just say, you know, I hope everybody voted on May 1st. I saw that the vote was down, but I just want people to know we have work to do. While we're around here in these small groups talking about other stuff and talking about things that are non-factors in our communities and hating on one another, we still got work to do. People still not out there voting, and people still not out there doing the job. Yeah, we got the president removed, but we barely got the Senate, and we almost about to lose the House. And we have mayors and governors and board members in our local jurisdictions that are basically writing laws into place and all types of things to basically suppress us even more. But we feel like we can high five because we got Trump out. It's more to that, y'all. So I just tell people all the time, and you know, people question me, why you doing this? Why y'all moving like this? Why you doing it? Why not? Tell me what we're doing that I won't have to do. And I want you to hear me clear for the people in the back, because I see you. And when you say you come to me and say, oh, Corey, I'm with you. I feel you, man. You good people. And then in the same breath, you're saying you wish my downfall. I see you. But I always ask people, if it was already in place, I wouldn't have to do anything. If it was already created, I wouldn't have to go out there and recreate. I could just join what you're doing. But you have no movement. You're not making any moves. And photo ops don't do it for me, because I don't like taking pictures. So again, I say unto you, we see you, I see you, and I see people for who they are. But I'm going to still love you regardless, and I'll never let you know that I saw you, because I'm going to still smile anyhow. You know who you are. But that comes that loyalty and not royalty. Y'all have a good one. Be blessed.